Once upon a time, in the hilly village of Enugu, lived a man called Ibekwe and his wife Ogechi. They lived with their 3 children in a small house in Enugu. Ibekwe was a trader at the popular Omego market. He traded in children's clothing and footwear, while his wife was a stay-at-home mom taking care of the home and their children. They had a good life and were content with what they had until tragedy struck. One day, during the Harmattan season, while Ibekwe and his family slept, his phone rang at 2 a.m. Ibekwe, are you sleeping? Haven't you heard? Omego Market is on fire. Ibekwe wasn't sure who the caller was, but he became fully awake instantly. He jumped from the bed, hurriedly putting on his clothes. His wife Ogechi woke up confused. Where are you going? What happened? Ogini, what is it? I'm going to the market. I hear it's on fire. I want to see if I can get anything out of the shop. He said in a rushed tone as he ran out of the house. Ogechi was confused and devastated. The fire service in town was not functional, so she could not even hope they would be of use. And given the time the fire started, it is likely to do a lot of damage before it was discovered. Dear Lord, please keep our shop safe from the fire, she prayed. She couldn't sleep anymore, so she sat in the living room praying and waiting anxiously. Around 5 a.m., Ibekwe came home looking dejected and dirty, smelling like smoke. He looked like he had been crying. Ogechi did not need to ask him to know that the shop was affected by the fire. How much damage? She asked him. Everything. He replied in a voice that sounded like he would break into tears at any moment as he sat on the floor in the living room. Where will I start? Where do I go from here? How do I begin again? I had just used all the money I had to stock the shop for the Christmas season. Now it's all gone. Ibekwe put his hands on his head as though to stop it from exploding. He was broken and confused. In the next few days, friends and relatives came to his house to encourage him. A few of them made promises to support him when he's ready to start again. After 1 week, Ibekwe and his wife had come to terms with their new situation. There was no source of income for their family. Ibekwe tried to raise money from his family and friends to start over, but met brick walls. Each one had a pressing need to solve and could not spare any amount of money to give to him. He also tried to get a loan from a few banks, but none of them worked because he had no collateral. By the end of 1 month, Ibekwe had started to lose hope of raising enough capital to restart his business, and he still needed to provide for his family needs daily. He started to take up all sorts of odd jobs to make ends meet. At one point, he worked as a laborer on a building construction site. He made enough money daily to keep his family going, but knew he would never be able to raise a capital to restart his business from doing menial jobs. At the end of every day's hard work, the laborers would sit together to get some rest and relax before going home. They would usually share stories of happenings around town while they rested. One evening, Ibekwe went home after the day's work and met Ogechi, his wife, shivering. She had a fever. What's wrong with you? You were fine when I left this morning. I don't know, Ogechi managed to say. I just got cold and noticed that I had a fever this afternoon. I also feel really weak. Ndo, I'll get you medications from the chemist down the road. Ibekwe ran out to buy medications for his wife. 1 week after, Ogechi was still sick. She would be strong and fine in the mornings but become sick in the evenings. Ibekwe called his wife as he left for work. Nne, take this money and go to the hospital today so that they can run tests and find out exactly what the problem is. Okay, thank you, Ogechi replied. Ibekwe had closed work early to go take care of his sick wife at home. He got home and found his wife sitting in the living room crying silently. He was shocked. What is wrong with you? Why are you crying? What did the doctor say? I'm pregnant, Ogechi cried out amidst tears. Ibekwe had no words to express how he felt. The events of the last few weeks came rushing through his memories. Since the fire incident, his family has not been the same. It had been one difficult problem after another. They had had a hard time meeting up with the bills at home. They could barely cater for their 3 children, and another one is on the way. We cannot be having another baby. We are barely surviving. He spoke as if to convince himself otherwise, but the deed was done already. The next few days had the couple handling their day-to-day activities reluctantly. It was as if they had lost the will to live. One day, while Ibekwe was resting with his colleagues at the end of the day, one of the laborers told a story of baby factories, how young ladies are contracted to have babies and sell them off to buyers who pay a huge sum of money. Ibekwe left the construction site deep in thought. He thought hard and deep for a few days, then woke his wife up one night to talk. Ogechi, wake up, we need to talk. Ogechi woke up startled. Is there a problem? No, there's no problem. I've been thinking about something, he replied. There's no easy way to say this, so I'm just going to come out straight. Since we cannot afford to take care of a new baby, I think we should find a couple who need a baby to adopt the baby for a price. We should sell our baby. My baby. Was that what you just said? What has gotten into you? I will not engage in such a conversation. Neither will I be part of this abomination. Please let me sleep. Ogechi replied and lay down to sleep. Ibekwe could not sleep. He wished there was a way he could make his wife understand. By morning, he got ready and went to work. Ogechi woke up and could not get her husband's suggestions out of her mind. How could he even think of such a thing? How will I explain it to people? What will I tell them happened to my baby? How will I spend the money in good conscience? How will I live with myself after selling my baby for the rest of my life? What does Ibekwe even mean? How could he think of such a thing? What will we tell our other children? She had so many questions. And it was not like she had answers to these questions or other ones that plagued her. How long are we even going to continue suffering like this? When will things get better? How will they take care of a new baby? As she thought about these things, she began to see reasons with her husband. Still, the idea was odd to her. She couldn't come to terms with it. Me, sell my own baby for money. For the rest of the week, the relationship between Ibekwe and Ogechi was strained. By the end of the week, they decided to have a talk. They agreed to take the next few months and think about their situation. By the 9th month, when the baby is due, they will make their decision. 9 months flew by very quickly. Their financial situation had not gotten better. In fact, things got worse. Ibekwe did not get construction jobs as often as before. And Ogechi's pregnancy troubled her. She was sick almost all the time, and so they spent a good chunk of their money on medications and supplements. By the time Ogechi was due to deliver her baby, they both agreed to sell the child. They found a couple who was ready to buy through someone Ibekwe met at one of the construction sites where he worked, and they agreed on a price. Soon, Ogechi had her baby. As soon as she was discharged from the hospital, they contacted the couple and handed over the baby to them in exchange for money, then went home to tell everyone their baby was dead. Ibekwe and Ogechi felt pangs of guilt, but they had enough money to restart their business and change their lives for good, and that was enough consolation for them. 1 week after they sold their baby, some men and women came to visit them at home. They were representatives of a child welfare arm of the government. They confronted Ogechi and Ibekwe with their crime. At first, the couple wanted to deny, but as their guests produced evidence after evidence of their crime, they knew they had been caught. The couple who bought their baby were actually working with the government to investigate and put an end to child trafficking. Ibekwe and Ogechi had fallen victim because of their impatience and greed. They were charged to court and sentenced to 10 years in prison. The government took custody of all their children.